Welcome to the Vernon Hills Update. The update offers information about a variety of village services. You'll meet a few of your neighbors and you'll find out about upcoming events. On today's show, we'll sit down with Mayor Roger Byrne as we celebrate the grand opening of the new Mellody Farm shopping complex. We'll talk with Public Works Director Dave Brown, who will introduce next year's road rehab project as well as offer suggestions for preparing for winter. And with that in mind, the village reminds everyone that the last yard waste pickup is scheduled for November 26th or 27th. We'll mark our calendars for the Village Tree and Menorah lighting celebration planned for Saturday, November 24th at the Vernon Hills Golf Course. And we'll stop by the Countryside Firehouse Kitchen to talk with fireman Tony Rodke about some safe cooking tips. Thank you for tuning into the Vernon Hills Update.
Well, here we are. It's the official ribbon cutting at Mellody Farm. What a thing. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. You remember way back, when you were trying to get this done, and it was just kind of a cow pasture.
Yeah, this was annexed in, as I said earlier, in 1986 by a different board. And, this was separate from the whole Cuneo development, which is Greg's landing. And but he had on this side of the street, the Cuneos, this side of the street, and then going down Milwaukee, a couple of 100 acres. You know what I mean? And it was, where Brookdale's at now. Okay. That's was part of it too. Yeah. So all those shopping centers were built on that land on the east side of Milwaukee. So, but anyway, this one. Yeah, there was like $1 million price tag per acre here. And, at one time, I'll sell you all 55 acres. Well, he was looking for $55 million, which was not a fair price because it's only about 30, we're on 39 acres here, okay? And that was
because the river goes behind.
Well, yeah, it's buildable, and you got to have detention, for stormwater runoff and all that fun stuff. And, so anyway, we had a lot of people approach us over the years, and they just couldn't strike a deal with the Cuneo people, and then these guys came along, and they seemed to have a pretty good rapport with, John Jr. as in Cuneo, and and then they asked us to participate, and part of putting together this TIF and the bonds and the bond guarantee. That took a while. You know what I mean? This could have been started probably, a year and a half earlier, but we had to get this development agreement in place. And, we didn't want to be holding the bag if, something happened to, Regency's financing or whatever. Because, we learned a lesson down at the TIF district at 45 in Milwaukee, which, is known as the town center. And because, Opus didn't complete their part of the project. And, so that affected the tax money coming back to the village to pay down the bonds. So here there's a real guarantee here. And the bottom line is it's a much different agreement than our first TIF experience. So.
Well, and it's a unique place in town because think about it. It's at the corner of two of the busiest roads in the county. I mean, it is kind of like a gem spot.
Yeah, oh yeah, it always, I was joking but not joking about, this is a crown jewel, and thank God it turned out, I think, to be really a nice development here, and it's like even if you don't you don't shop, you're gonna have 15 nice restaurants here, and some I'm sure which people have heard of, and then we got Elon Musk's brother coming in. Yeah, Kimball with what is his next door? What is it, next door or something?
American,
it's got a couple of the first. Something next. Yeah. Anyway, he's it's fine, and he'll be organic oriented with his food choices and such, and anyway, it's going to be nice. This Lazy Dog is going to be beautiful because. I saw one online in, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and, then they'll have the outdoor area where you could bring your pooch and stuff. And, but I mean, there's in Kuma's Corner, people love it because, I mean, everybody tells me, man, they're downtown. Well, they came out here, as did a few others, so.
Well, and the goal is we always like people to shop in town. Even if you have habit of shopping online, this is a good place to stop and shop in town, as are all our retailers.
Yeah, I mean, it is good, and I think, you got the big box kind of retailers. I think they've woken up about, online shopping, and a lot of them you can return your purchase to I know Target's involved in that, and I know Kohl's is. And I wouldn't be surprised if Macy's was doing that too. And I think people like that, So in any event, I hope this is a success. I think it will be, and, be here for many years after I'm long gone.
Well, heck of a lot of work went into it. So thank you to you and the trustees and the staff and everybody who's been working on it.
And even, when I mentioned, John Calmer, who was our village manager, he put in a lot of time and effort, and he was excellent at, development, and he was degreed in, in planning. He had a master's in planning. So, but the whole, staff, really worked hard on this. The board worked hard on it. I lost count how many times I got a phone call from Matt. Dave Brown wants me to do this, and then we'd have a sit down and, hash it out. And of course, on the record, Dave was right about 95% of the time. So
everybody was looking out for the best interest of the community for the long run, and that's huge.
And the infrastructure is huge, in any project. But I think people, will, appreciate the intersection improvement at 60 and 21. It's got to help because you got more stacking lanes and everything. So,
So that alone, even if you don't come to shop, that's got to help the work that had to go into it.
Yeah,
so it's a great day. It really is a good day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I just want to thank, everybody that worked on this, and thank, the village employees that put in a lot of time and effort. And I think, hopefully, I think it'll turn out great,
Cool. Just in time for the holidays. So thanks, Roger. Thank
All
you.
right, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn.
Well, we are over in Hawthorne Club with Public Works Director David Brown, and it's a little early, but we're actually talking about road work that's going to happen in this neighborhood next spring, but you start working on this way ahead.
Yeah, we try to get in advance a 5-year program in terms of our roads. We've done a pavement management study. That's our guidelines in terms of the quality of the streets, and is a roadmap to show us which streets we should do next. So we look at a 5-year plan, then my staff walks those competing streets, and then we do a reassessment and determine which way to go. Our 2019 program is here, the south end of Hawthorne Club. We're also going to Augusta Green. We're going to River Grove. And then the last area is the Georgetown Square area. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and so and like you said, you plan this out and then you take it in chunks so that it's manageable not only in the work but also in the money. So you can budget out, and that's why we're kind of working ahead, because you kind of get a pre-approval for the budget so you can get your bids out so you can be ready to go as soon as the snow melts in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also competing projects. We try to obtain federal dollars or state dollars where possible. We know our 2020 program is going to be at Lakeview and Hawthorne. We're eligible for 80% federal reimbursement on the project. We've been working on putting that together for a number of years. It looks like that's lining up for 2020. So getting ahead of that project, we wanted to spend $1.1 million for 2019, and the 4 subdivisions that I mentioned is our program for 2019.
So for 2019, we're not talking it's not like you take it all the way down to the gravel and redo it, but you do a regrind. So it's actually, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and it doesn't disrupt for all summer long.
Yeah, Village Board's been very good in terms of funding our streets and helping us stay ahead of it so we don't have to reconstruct roadways. It's a simple mill and overlay project similar to past years and really a lot more affordable than the other ones that require reconstruction.
And as we said, we're way ahead of this when we're talking to the neighbors, and the neighbors will have information because you communicate with everybody directly, and then you have updates online, and you try when the time comes, everybody will know what to do and how it's going to be.
Yeah, we just obtained the village's concurrence on the program at the last board meeting last week, and so now we're going to go out, measure up the streets, put the plans together, communicate with residents, and move it forward. We like to have the plans ready to go over the winter, so we'll put the plans together then when it's a little bit slower for construction, and then get ready for May construction.
And when we talk about what happens the year after at Hawthorne and Lakeview, is that just improvement for like the amount of vehicles that can get through the intersection, or what is that intersection improvement going to look like generally?
Yeah, generally it functions well except for early in the morning and after work. So the AM and PM peaks are especially congested. So the Hawthorne and Lakeview traffic signal, right now it's on a split phase, and so the shopping center side and the west leg of the intersection, they wait for each other, make those movements. We want it to be more standardized intersection, that the north-south legs make their maneuvers, and then the east-west legs make their maneuvers. It's going to be a more efficient intersection. That's one of the larger challenges for that project.
But that'll have federal funding. That's always good to know. And as we like to remind everybody, the Village of Vernon Hills, when it is locally funded, village funded, that comes primarily through sales tax. We don't have a property tax that goes to the Village of Vernon Hills. And so when your tax bills come around, we're getting the service through like fuel taxes, and we're getting it through sales taxes, but it's not a property tax on the village.
Absolutely. So again, our road program's 1.1 million. We obtain about 50% of our motor fuel tax funding, it's called. So 50% of the funds are through every time you fill up your gas tank, a certain percentage of it comes to the village. That's based on population. Okay. So that'll fund probably 50% of it. We do have to go into the general fund to finance the remainder.
Okay. All right. Well, and more information will be always online. You'll be communicating as we go forward. So. Okay, in other news, as we're getting, we're talking about stuff for the spring, but we're also getting ready for fall and for winter. And I know one of the things coming up as people watch us in November is what to do with the leaves. Some communities, they come through and suck the leaves out of the gutter, and Public Works just wants to let people know we don't have a leaf sucker. I don't know what they're called.
Sure. So as part of the advanced disposal contract for picking up waste, they do pick up yard waste. Leaves are included in that, so they would be bagged, and then you would put your sticker over it, and then they'd collect it as part of the yard waste and garbage recycling day. In terms of the village, no, we go around and we'll sweep the streets and we'll trim the leaves and try to manage that, but that part of the services is outsourced.
We just don't have that. So remember too, so if you have yard waste to go and you have the subscription service and you're ready to work with that, it ends, I think, right after Thanksgiving, the last Monday or Tuesday of November. So that's when they close the landfill, and that's when that service ends. Another thing that I know your staff over at Public Works likes to remind us that they're going to be going around at some point, and they do like a quick mailbox check if they happen to be going through a neighborhood, meaning they check to make sure your mailbox is sturdy so that when the plow comes through, the snow doesn't knock it down, and they try to give everybody heads up because nobody likes their mailbox down in the middle of winter when it's icy and cold and nasty. If you're going to do it, you want to do it before it gets like that.
Absolutely. We all look forward to checking our mailbox, see what the mailman's delivered. So we get out in front of it, we'll go and inspect them, check their condition. If we notice that there's some stability issues, problems with it, we'll reach out to the homeowner. But essentially we try to make sure that they're sturdy for all those reasons that you raised. One thing that we find a lot in terms of when mailboxes are damaged, it's not necessarily that our plows go over the curb. something as simple as the mailbox door being open, we will hit that with our plow and it will spin the mailbox. So one of the simple things is making sure that the mailbox door is closed, and that'll help with mail service.
Okay, so hard to believe we're thinking about fall, winter, and spring all in one story with you, Mr. David Brown. So if people want more information, you can always look at things on the website and look up Public Works, and then you can give a call, or Carissa's always over there ready to help.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you need anything, give us a call. We're hoping it's a mild season for this winter, as we're hearing, but you just never know until it actually arrives.
Well, and by the time people are watching this, who knows, we might have, it's 80 degrees right this minute, but we could have 2 feet of snow on the ground by the time they're watching it. So
Let's go with the 80 degrees.
thank you for taking the time. Thank you to your crews. And remember, if you have questions, go online, give a call, send an email. But that's kind of what it's looking like right now from Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, it's getting to be that time of year when we're gathering up, we're doing holiday things, we're having fun with our families, and one of the things we do here in town is right after Thanksgiving, we have kind of the official tree and menorah lighting celebration, a free thing that a lot of families like to go to.
Yes, on Saturday, November 24th at the Vernon Hills Golf Course at 291 Evergreen Drive at 4:30, we do the holiday tree lighting and the menorah lighting for our residents. We will have Santa Claus will arrive on a fire truck, and Mayor Byrne and the Queens and Santa will would like to greet you inside the golf club house with cookies and hot chocolate and cider, and then Santa will meet the children, and then we go outside. We'll light the tree and the menorah, and we will have the Vernon Hills Queens there. Countryside Fire, the President Byrne, and of course Santa Claus. So
And you always do kind of a countdown to light up the tree.
oh yeah, they do a countdown to light everything up, and we usually have a couple hundred residents out. Surprisingly, it has grown over the years, and a lot of people come out. So join us, if you will, on Saturday, November 24th.
Yeah, so it's at the municipal golf course. That's the one off of Route 45, and it's all free, and it's just bundle up so you can be outside. But it's that Saturday after Thanksgiving is what we do.
Yes.
So that's the tree and menorah lighting. Another thing we like to always talk to you at this time of year, but really all year round, is the food pantries. And I know that here our efforts go usually to support the Libertyville Township and the Vernon Township food pantries. Can you tell people how they can help do that?
Well, we have donation bins at the Vernon Hills Village Hall, at the Public Works Department, and at the Police Department. We will accept donations at any time. We take non-perishable items, food items for the township offices, and then we donate them, or we get them to the township office. We also encourage companies and businesses and organizations to do food drives throughout the year, because it's not just Christmas that these people need help. But if you want to do a food drive within your organization and then you end up with a truckload of food, give us a call. We will coordinate that the township comes and picks that up from your business or your office or whatever. And it's a very important thing. There are a lot of families out there that really need our assistance. Again, not just through the holidays. If you would like to help with certain things, donate your time or something for a good cause, contact your local township office. They always have things and events going over the holidays to support people in the time of need.
And that's a good resource to have too. If you need support yourself, short-term, long-term, the township offices not only have like emergency pantries available for personal products and cleaning supplies and foods and things like that, they also can connect you with services. So they do a lot of good work.
Oh, absolutely. Our township offices are a wealth of information and help.
Okay, so if somebody wants to do this, so like you said, they can just really give you an email and go, guess what? We had a big drive and we've got a pile of stuff here and we don't know how to transport it. If they email you or call you, you can help with that.
Sure. Just email me, and my number and email are on the website right here, and I will be more than happy to coordinate a pickup, and we will have someone come get the items from you and get them transported to the township office.
Sometimes that's the hardest part. You can't figure out what to do at the end of it all.
Oh yeah. You know what? On Fridays, donate a can of beans to wear jeans to work, or something real simple. Just a reason, a cause to collect non-perishable food items. It's always a great thing to do.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coordinating that. And we wish everybody a good holiday season, and hopefully we'll see everybody on November 24th over at the golf course.
Absolutely, and happy holidays.
We are at Countryside Fire. We happen to be in the kitchen because as we get into November, it gets cold. We invite friends and family in. We tend to gather around, and we tend to gather around with food. I know that, firefighters over here, you guys are good eaters too, but food tends to be the center of our gathering. And I know when it comes to kitchen safety, you've been teaching us, you've been teaching the kids a lot.
Yes, and kitchen fires are definitely happening more often during the months of November and December due to the holidays and family gatherings.
Yeah, and everybody's just gathered together, and oftentimes we gather in the kitchen, and people are busy, they're not paying attention. So you've been teaching us some tips to stay safe in the kitchen over the last how many years? You've been teaching our kids in all the schools in the Countryside Fire area.
Countryside's been doing it for about 50 years.
50 years. Well, and so we thought we'd see how are we doing. You said you've got a little quiz for us today to see if we're remembering anything that you've been teaching us, Fireman Tony.
Yeah, I got a quiz right here, and I'm going to read off the question and then some of these answers, see if you remember, okay?
Okay.
And the question, which of these actions for kitchen safety are good ideas for keeping your kitchen safe as you are cooking up a holiday feast? A, have lids available for your pots and pans. B, turn the handles to the side, away from the edge. C, have hot pads and gloves, oven mitts available. Move flammable items away, D. And E, keep a clear zone away from the stove entirely. The answer, all the above. Okay, let me demonstrate some of these kitchen safety rules to you guys out there in Countryside Fire Nation. First, we want to make sure we shut off the heat and use a lid to protect ourselves and slowly shield and slide on the lid. Turn handles to the inside so they're not hanging over the edge. It would be a good idea to have hot pads and an oven mitt. Make sure you keep all flammable items away from the stove. Keep a clear zone away from the stovetop. And your answer would be all the above.
All the above. Do all those things, and I know you are always like, don't leave the kitchen because it's a dangerous spot if you walk away from it.
Absolutely. Unattended cooking is the leading causes of fires in the United States of America and here at Countryside Fire District. 25% of our fires have been unattended cooking. So you got to watch what you heat.
Well, that's some great kitchen tips. That was a good quiz. I think we did pretty well. Now, let's talk about decorating, because as you start to get particularly into the end of November, you see more strings of lights going up, sometimes a holiday tree, things like that. And I know you've got some good ideas for decorating safety. So you've got another quiz. Which of the following are good ideas for keeping safe as you decorate for the holidays, as you're getting ready to make your house beautiful like that?
Well, you should use UL-approved decorations. That's Underwriter Laboratory approved decorations. Please do not daisy chain your decorations with extension cords to extension cords. Use surge protectors, your power strips that do have a breaker on them. Those are much better. Please do not run electric cords under the rugs as well. That can cause some heat resistance and possibly lead to a fire. The answer? All the above for the decoration safety. Also keep in mind, starting Thanksgiving through the end of the year, we're going to ask you to help keep the wreath red. And we want to prevent any decoration fire here at Countryside Fire District.
Okay, that's what goes up on the outside of the station, the big, and if as long as it's red, that means you haven't had fire.
That's correct. When you see all the red bulbs on the wreath, that's what we're trying to do. If you see a light bulb that's white, that means we had a decoration fire. And we've been pretty fortunate not to have any because everyone out there is practicing fire safety.
Another decorating trend that we like is candles, and I know you as a firefighter don't particularly like candles, so you've got a quiz here on candle safety. Can you give people we've got a couple ideas here what people can do, and you tell people, we'll try to guess at home if we've got the right things. So what are good ideas in this list?
Well, for candle safety, first of all, just like the stove, we want to make sure we're keeping all flammable items away from that candle at least 3 feet, okay? Also, when you leave the room, go to sleep. When you go out, blow them out. You want to try and use battery-operated candles, flameless candles that use batteries.
They're not terrible. They look good.
They're fine, and they actually can come scented as well if you enjoy that. So all those tips are the answer.
Well, and as we get into the fall, that's a time where you like to remind us about smoke detectors. So what's the deal with smoke detectors? What should we be doing?
Well, first of all, we ask that you guys test, everybody out there, please test your smoke alarms to make sure that they're working monthly. Daylight savings time is a good reminder to put fresh batteries in your smoke alarms. The saying is, when you change the clocks, change the batteries. Well, daylight savings is November 4th. So let's get that done. Put some fresh batteries in each of your smoke alarms. You should have a smoke alarm on each level of your home, at least one. The more you have, the better, but at least one smoke alarm per level. And the basement is a level. And also, don't wait, check the date. When we pull those smoke alarms down to put a new battery in, there's a date stamped on the back. We want to replace smoke alarms entirely every 10 years. So if you notice your smoke alarm's older than 10 years, let's get a new smoke alarm.
And you can do that pretty cheaply, like usually like $6, $7, $8 you can get a new one.
Actually, they're $4 with the battery.
Well, that was a lot of good information we covered. I know you've been covering it with us for years, so hopefully we're getting smarter and safer.
I think we are. I know that when I'm testing and quizzing the children at school, they're doing awesome, and we had a great compliment at the open house that the students really knew their material. So I think everybody out there has been studying and listening and doing a great job. So I really appreciate you guys asking and answering those questions correctly.
And if you want more information, there's the website. They can call over here. They can, if you're worried about something, you've got information.
Absolutely. CountrysideFire.com. A lot more information out there. So please visit our site and learn all you can. And on behalf of Countryside Fire Protection District, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
If you have comments or suggestions, please contact Mike Stordo at 847-918-3560 or email mikes@vhills.org. Thank you for tuning into the Vernon Hills Update.